I want to thank Senator Inhofe and Senator Reid for their work on this year's National Defense Authorization Act. It's a big piece of work. It's something that we do every single year to be able to walk through what's called affectionately around here the NDAA. It's all of our defense policies. It's what weapon systems we buy. It's how we support our men and women in uniform. It's how we ensure the national security of the United States. It's working its way across the floor, and I am proud of the role that my state plays in what's happening to achieve the goals for national security. The defense bill authorized a 2.6% pay increase for our troops, marking the largest increase in troop pay since 2010. The bill also increases procurement and funding of the KC-46 tanker, which will be stationed at Altus Air Force Base in southwestern Oklahoma and maintained at Tinker Air Force Base near Oklahoma City. Air Force currently operates an air fueling tanker fleet with an average age of more than 50 years. Since the air refueling tanker plays a key component to our nation's overall military strategy and our worldwide reach, including our readiness and operational capability, KC-46A is a very welcome and long-awaited asset for the Air Force air refueling capability. They're scheduled to arrive later this year in just a few months at Altus Air Force Base, so our women and men of the Air Force can begin to step up and be trained and be ready to be able to use that great asset. The 97th Air Mobility Wing at Altus Air Force Base is responsible for that formal training for the C-17, KC-135, and now the KC-46 aircraft for the active duty, guard, and reserve air crew, while maintaining that global reach. Tinker Air Force Base currently supports the depot maintenance on that. Many of those pilots that are ending up in that training first started out in Enid, actually, being trained in Enid, Oklahoma, on some of our smallest training aircraft. They learned how to be able to do it and then transitioned later to Altus to be able to now fly the KC-46. The bill continues the modernization efforts to be able to for the flying B-52 bomber, sustainment of which is completed at Tinker Air Force Base. The bill includes funding for the Paladin Integrated Management System upgrade, which is assembled in Elgin, Oklahoma, and is used at Fort Sill right down the street. The Fires Center of Excellence at Fort Sill organizes, trains, and equips the Paladin units in the Army Paladin Integrated Management. And quite frankly, just about every time I go home or now fly out, I'm sitting next to or nearby some young woman or man who is clutching a folder in their hand, heading into Oklahoma City to get onto a bus and head down to Fort Sill so they can do their basic. I can always recognize their faces. I don't have to say anything else to them, but thank you for signing up, because they're always clutching that folder that they have been told not to lose, and so they just hang on to it tightly. And they're getting ready to head to basic at Fort Sill. It's an incredibly important facility for us as a nation. Earlier this year, it was announced that Fort Sill will maintain the long-range precision fires and the air and missile defense cross-functional teams, and will welcome 2 new brigadier generals to lead these organizations. All around the world, people are asking for the assets that are coming out of Fort Sill because people want missile defense and the capability to be able to protect themselves from incoming threats. This bill that we're working on also includes funding for the bulk diesel replacement at the McAllister Army Ammunition Plant. Most every time you see a guided missile somewhere that you get a chance to see on TV, in all likelihood it was assembled and was prepared in McAllister, Oklahoma. The bill provides funding for the aircraft storage building for the Army National Guard in Lexington, Oklahoma. Since September the 11th, 2001, the Oklahoma National Guard has deployed more than 30,000 soldiers to more than 16 countries right out of Oklahoma, and we're proud to be able to do our part. Finally, the committee recognized the spaceport in Oklahoma, which some folks have missed, but the committee did not. It's home to one of the nation's largest and widest runways, 13,503 feet long by 300-foot wide concrete runway, and it's ready and prepared for our nation. The committee noted that the Oklahoma Air and Spaceport near Burns Flat, Oklahoma, is the only spaceport in the United States to have a civilian Federal Aviation Administration approved spaceflight corridor in the National Airspace System. The spaceflight corridor is unique because it's not within military operating areas or within restricted airspace, which provides an operational capability for space launch operations and associated industries specialized in space-related activities. This is a good bill. There's a lot in it. It's a long bill. There are amendments that are still pending as we work through the process, but it's a good conversation for us to be able to work through and to continue to be able to focus on one of the primary responsibilities of this Congress and of our legislative branch, standing up for the national defense, making sure we take care of that. Because there are a lot of things happening in our economy and in our nation because we are secure. And if at any moment we let down our guard from our own security, a lot of other things disconnect. It's a good thing for us to be able to work through the process on this. And I look forward to being able to support this bill and to continue to support our national security. With that, I yield the floor.